Alright, hi everyone. What's up, Amir? What's up, Turtles? Alright, so I'm still on vacation. I'm still trying to run and kind of relax, so we're just going to be playing some very simple community challenge stuff, as well as finishing the 18s folder hopefully today, because I only have a bunch of doubles left to do, probably about 25 or so. So we're just going to knock it through that. We might have another stream later tonight. I know Hockey Babbler and I wanted to try and play some Wizard Boy co-op together. If you haven't played like Secret Agent Wizard Boy, that is certainly an experience. It's very fun. It's great what it parodies. But we will try and... Oh, it's spooky there.
It's the blue one.
It's the blue one? Okay.
Yeah, I still need to glue it back.
Okay. Well, anyways, we're just going to get through this. It's going to be mostly an easy day. If we have extra time after I'm done with the community challenge stuff and the 18s, then we'll play whatever, especially since I need to start prepping for SGDQ at this point. And I've got two songs picked out for the song list, and I still need to fill out another 17 or 18. So let's just go ahead and get started.
Series zone. First, Casino Level Line 2. Fiesta to Fiesta 2.
Okay, so the theme of this week's community challenge is Max's You Got series. You can play any chart for them. So we're just going to go 2 singles and 2 doubles. I'm going to keep it mostly simple here. There we go. 18s are fun as a whole, unless you get really weird things that I had to deal with last night. We'll see how I do. I haven't had lunch yet. I had breakfast, but I haven't had lunch yet, so we're going to see how far I can get this today. Hey, what's up, Gary? It is my favorite.
Absolutely perfect!
Yeah, but that's also not in the spirit of the song to do none of the turns. Like, these are very turn-centric charts. Like, it's definitely not in the spirit to just cheat everything. You can impose that on yourself if you want. I'm not going to stop you. Oh, did I forget to take a screenshot? I think I did of the S15. I'll have to get it from stream later. That's fine. also such a great shirt.
Absolutely perfect!
I mean, do you want me to just double step everything on doubles too? And just do this at the end of 4 of those charts? No, just don't overthink it. I keep forgetting to get screenshots,
Next
whatever.
stage.
I'll just pull them from stream.
We just finish with the
Yeah, I can. That's a good idea.
Fiesta to Fiesta 2.
stay there one more.
Yep. I didn't know if I wanted to do the other one first. Here, we'll do some hard single turns. The turns in this one are quite hard at the end. Like, they're really fun, but they're pretty damn hard. I wonder it's so hot this fan was never turned on. I wonder how it's going.
Absolutely perfect!
There it
Next
is.
stage.
17 for this one is fine, but it's probably my least favorite of all 4 of the 17s for singles. It is good though. Like, all of them are good. So it's not a problem.
I prefer double over single.
Yeah, I do too.
Fiesta to Fiesta High.
Alright, now I have to actually do some work because the end of this one's actually pretty hard on double. Also a good chart, but pretty hard at the end. There's definitely some tough mega twisting involved. We're also kind of fighting the sin here.
Yo, drop that.
Shout out to everyone who still gets tricked by that. You know, I almost tried to do 24s like Single did during that one section. I'm like, hold on. It's just turns.
Absolutely perfect! Next stage.
Okay. There we go. All community stuff done. Like I said, pretty easy since you only had to play. And I kind of hope the community stuff will get a little bit more interesting later because I talked about this with DJ Pandaga. But it's just like having some like here, just you have to play this. That's fine to explore the song list. But we've had like 3 or 4 weeks of that in a row, and we kind of need to like diversify and do actual challenges of some kind. So I think we'll probably have something a little bit more diverse for next time. Anyways, let's get started with all these 18s that I still need to do. I've got PIU tracker up, so it looks like we're doing Idolized Romance first.
Hi, PSNX, NX,
No, I'm already in the right folder. I don't even need to do anything. I don't want to deal with sync. I'm gonna make this nice and easy. I'm just not gonna worry. Just put JT on, make it easy. Almost everything in the Prime 1 folder is really late, so just JT minus and be happy. Let me go send that before I forget.
Game over.
Okay, well, still an idolized romance. That's fine. It's not going to be a problem as long as I just don't cut that short like I did. I just felt this was like on the upper end of 18 just because it never really stops at the end. It's pretty good.
New tunes. Difficulty, so level 17, level 18.
Like, it isn't like super technical, but there's a lot of movement involved. I mean, Matatsu Daira definitely does, but this is a lot of movement for what it's trying to be. It's a perfectly good chart. And it has a BGA that's actually pretty nice by Mila standards. Good.
Absolutely perfect! Wow! New! Next stage.
It's just a nice song, and like I've said in the past, I wish we could get more stuff from Void again. But unfortunately, after Void gave us 2 originals in Prime 2, he just kind of just banked out of doing more stuff for Andamiro. Which is really unfortunate because like his 2 originals in Prime 2 are some of my favorites in that mix, and have a lot of his distinct sound. It gives him a lot of character. Speaking of having JT on, man, I'm glad JT exists. Also a great song. Yeah, I remember playing this one for a different community challenge now. Because I remember it was like low speed mod. So that was challenging at the very end. I definitely had to work at the very end of the chart because it was difficult to read on like one X. It's kind of funny for a chart that tried to copy Gargoyle, it copied it a little too liberally because the sync was also copied. That seems to happen every time we have a Gargoyle clone of some kind. Aside from Destination Mission. I think that was like the only exception. This is late as hell. Reminigoyle was late as hell.
Is Destination show up late?
No, I think that's on. I was referring to the mission. I don't know if... I don't think shortcut's off. Shortcut feels fine. You're too frantically hitting things to like worry too much about it. Like, sync is the least of your problems with those charts. I'm cutting something badly. Because I felt that.
Hey, why don't you just get up and dance, man?
I'm cutting something badly, and I can definitely feel it. Let's pay very close attention to the end.
Game over.
Because I'm definitely doing something bad with my footwork. And getting in trouble. Hyper, Hyperion. No, the realization that you're doing something wrong is the same as a mission. Oh, Purion. Which was a good chart, and I'm kind of sad that didn't end up in arcade. Because that was basically a fold of double.
New teams. Difficulty zone level set level 18.
And it was like perfectly fine. It wasn't a 21. Like, I'll say this much. That single was rated higher than what's currently D20, which is a freaking lie. Okay, just focus at the end. Just be very clean. Go high if you need to. I'm actually gonna look at that. Let me look at the VOD. I still like it's definitely a me thing. Which is weird. I'm struggling so much on 18s lately with this. Where did it happen? It was on the right side somewhere. Okay, it's that center step. I need to check that center panel out then. I need to check this center panel out at some point. So I wonder if it's just over there. It could possibly be. We'll check it another time. Just need to be careful about this. Focus for 8 minutes. Come on. I'm not going far enough, I don't
Is
think.
this really your best?
I'm cutting that short, I think. Why did that have to happen? Come on. Basic fundamentals today. Oh yeah, I'm way far off. I don't mind it. Like it's a lot less draggy when you're not playing it 5 billion times in a row like I am. I think if you just play it like once or twice, like a normal person would, it's okay. I think I put my toe down and not my heel. Come on. It's just gonna keep being little things over and over.
Absolutely perfect! Next.
To be fair, I have been playing a lot lately, like in terms of like number of days. Like even if it hasn't been much, I've played a lot. Like I think the last time we streamed was Tuesday. Wednesday and Thursday we were at around 1 for a bit each night for just a little bit. Friday was another arcade for a little bit. Came home Saturday, and I've played like minor grinding since then. So I have actually played quite a bit. So I think tomorrow I just need to make a full rest day. Because I am kind of starting to feel it. Like the legs aren't super tired, but the brain is out. I'm lucky I even hit that first jump. Tries that took, but that was way too many. It were at least done. At least finally done, but that was way too many tries. Or something that should have been like 1 or 2 at the max. I love Hyperion, but I kind of need to move on. I kind of have other things I need to do. I enjoy the song too. But even then, I have 25 plus other songs I need to do. I can't stay on Hyperion. You can do that if you want during your session. Got my chair in the way, I can't see what's next. Doppelganger. Caused me to trip up this. Probably just some run at the end. good. No worries there.
Absolutely perfect!
Also, please more Mitsugane BTAs. They do a great job.
Game over.
Their creepy-ish form of 3D animation is actually really good, and has definitely given the songs a lot of good personality. Yeah, the brag of it is a little jump scare. It's fine though. It's fine being there. Yeah, this and Barber's Madness. Like, Barber's Madness is kind of like, it's a song that exists, but the BGA really elevates it.
New tunes. Difficult.
I did this a little last night, but now I have to redo it. Frickin' hell. This chart is partially fixed, but that doesn't make it much more pleasant. It comes down to one burst, and not a very comfortable one. Also a little sticky, so this is not helping. The hard part about this chart is that I'm fighting muscle memory, because it used to have so many double steps. But actually following the fixed chart is actually kind of awkward in places. Barber's Madness has some difficult parts, but for the most part they're not too bad to deal with.
Absolutely perfect! Next stage.
Would you prefer when it used to be a 17? Which for its time, sure, but it stayed that way for way too long. Like, imagine the players that was like, oh, I can do Cosmical Rhythm D16. This shouldn't be that much of a step up. And then you get bombarded with this. And yes, I am picking stuff from the complete opposite ends of the scale right there, because I can think of at least one person where that actually happened.
To be honest, when Cosmical Rhythm was in game, people would not already touch this.
One person did.
They should have touched something better like Emperor.
Hey, they wandered into the folder, they picked it. I can't help that. There are some great new charts added to old songs. This is definitely not one of them.
It was edited so long time ago, it's already considered old, being edited to old.
I don't remember it was rated down. Let me check one out. Like, it could be. Let's see. Let's check chart history. You're actually right. So it was originally a 17 and Exceed. Exceed 2 went down to 15, 0, 16, and then NX back to 17. It stayed that way until Phoenix. That's messed up. That's messed up.
No good.
Some genius really thought it needed to be downrated. Wow. There are some dark history moments in this game. It's 17. Also, hi, Cerulean.
Absolutely perfect!
Now, the 19 has stayed where it was. And that chart is still thankfully relatively good.
Next stage.
Especially how old it is. I wasn't sure if I turned pass on, so that's why I pulled it out. I did not. Alright, here's what we're gonna do here. Because I keep getting screwed over. We're just gonna turn the speed up. We're just going to brute force it, hopefully. It's a very uncomfortable pattern. Yeah, the hold is worth a bunch. That hold's just there. Thank goodness, get out of here.
Absolutely perfect! Wow! New record!
Yeah, you changed the chart, you don't even end it on 600s. Thanks, EXE. I still think D19 was a good chart for its time. It still holds up. Like, you can tell it's kind of dated, but it still holds up pretty well. The ending burst being changed, I don't like the fact that it was changed at all, but it was changed into something that was more comfortable and a lot more doable, so I let that one slide. Yeah, last triple could have been another 200. Alright, finally, we can move on to this.
Level 18. This will be Zane Rock Remix.
You owe me for this one. Yep, that's why I'm saying it. Like that chart more than I do, but I feel like it does a little much at times.
Absolutely perfect! Wow! Next stage.
Like, this chart definitely does some really cool things for its time, but it is a little out of a little out of place in a couple spots. No. That's NX BPM for you on really easy stuff. NX specifically, he was a little bit more off the wall in ways.
Yeah, that's why they don't exist.
Mm-hmm. Well, thankfully that one's already out of the way. Yeah, the same rating as Ugly Duck Toccata. Look, if you're not stressing, are you really playing Bumera? Alright, let's try and get a shortcut out of the way since I'm already in this folder. I'm going to make this a lot easier by doing this. Well, it helps me with the rolling brackets. It's going to help me a lot with the rolling brackets. And I still have the drills I have to do. Ah, yes, I love holds where 60% of my combo is the ending.
Absolutely perfect!
Let's get this one out of the way first. Like, there are some other shortcuts I need to do, but I want to get this one out of the way.
Game over!
Like, don't get me wrong, chart's fun. It is a fun chart. It's a good shortcut. But it's also very easy to just get blocked on greats.
I'm surprised it's still 18, to be honest.
Yeah, it's very condensed with no real rest, so it definitely could have been uprated one.
Those drills so long, man. Like, ow.
8 notes? Not that bad. Not too bad for 155 BPM or so. But yeah, I would uprate it at this point. It's a good chart.
It's a good chart, but I always felt it was not 18. I guess the people who are good enough to play it, so they screwed.
Game 2! Use your difficulty zone.
Yeah, you got dinguses like me playing it still. What did I do there? I also didn't turn past that on. I am smart. I get why they disable pass M between credits, but I kind of wish I could just keep it on. Or, you know, have the proper endless mode that actually saves.
I think it has to do with possibilities not playing premium credit next to
Unlock. Use your difficulty zone double.
I mean, do what rank mode did, just reset mods and whatever. Like, we've had checks in place before. You just apply them here. Damn, I really that's
Is
slow.
this really your best?
I really am that slow, apparently. Apparently, we're not going to get past this first set of turns. I can't hit anything.
Hey, is this really your best?
I really cannot hit things. Oh, expert 8 player does not know how to play 18s today. Oh boy. It's one of those days.
Your best?
Yeah, I wish to. I wish they could have more charts for these older shortcuts too. The problem is that shortcuts as a folder, they just don't really get played at this point. It's very much a legacy thing. They were great for practicing a lot of techniques, but a lot of those techniques either A, don't show up in charts nowadays, or B, they actually do show up in charts nowadays and people play those instead. So most people only play shortcuts if they're like stuck on hearts. It's very rare people actually pick the shortcut folder.
Shortcut folder has accepted opening. That one makes it begin.
Tell that to the people who don't play it. I don't know. Maybe we'll overhaul the system next game. We'll see. There's definitely great.
Hey, is this really your best?
I wonder if the cut's bad right there, because I keep getting specifically a great there.
It could be.
Like, I specifically keep getting a great on those rolling brackets. That's my fault.
Hey, is this really your best?
Hey, we're actually going to see a full 6-song set. That's not something you see every day. Stage 6, y'all.
Hey, is this really your best?
I'm doing something wrong. All blank.
Game over.
Koa. That's 6 Konami of Americas. Unfortunately, you can only get 2 Konami of Americas and a single credit.
New tunes. Difficult, very single. Remix archive.
I think the older shortcuts still serve their purpose. The problem is that we just don't have the folder fleshed out for a lot of easier players. If we had more charts that focus on techniques in a lower range, that would make them a lot more appealing to pick. And I could point to them and be like, hey, you want to practice this? Play these. They're short. But they don't, and they probably never will. So. Okay, that was late on my end. I really hate rolling brackets like these. They are the most inconsistent to get perfects on. There was a lot of that. So, Fiesta 1 tried a lot of new things, because the problem with NXA was that the only new thing it tried, the only 2 new things it tried were A, Brain Shower, and B, really annoying everywhere else. And boy did it succeed at that second one.
Well, they also changed how the basic command worked. Probably.
Yeah, easy, but nobody cared. Like, it was not differentiable at all. Like, you had rolls added to easy, and the charts, like, auto-adjusted depending on your performance, but nobody ever actually cared about that actually played it. I wouldn't say shortcuts are easy to make. Like, sure, maybe cutting them is easy. Making good shortcut charts is actually a lot more difficult, because you're very condensed, and if you want a good idea, you have to know how to really make it work within a minute. Like I said, Fiesta, they were trying a lot of new things because NXA was a freaking flop. Like, even at the time, I knew it was not a great mix. And reading stuff on NamuWiki is like, that just kind of reinforced it. So Fiesta was a huge breath of fresh air. It let down in a couple ways, but as a whole, Fiesta was a huge improvement.
Hey, is this really your best?
Hold on. Thought check. What happens? I'm not going nearly enough down. Okay. That explains that. when I'm going from this yellow to this blue, I'm like still hitting like right here. It's funny because I like thought I addressed this with some other songs the other day, but apparently it's just a really bad habit of mine. Well, I already got a
Is this really your
griddle.
best?
Yeah, like if you play easier things as a whole, NXA won't be that bad. It was really the fact that there were way too many easy things in arcade, and then everything else was just kind of a train wreck.
Yeah, there was like two most songs everyone played and not everyone had Dota.
I was actually thinking Trato and 2X, neither of which were available to everyone.
It's not Dota also.
Dota also was, but that's not considered boss. Like we have Trato and 2X.
I was also
The-
thinking Canonix 1 because for us it was a boss.
Considering how little there was in that mode, yeah, I'd agree.
Everyone was trying to challenge the
Yeah, I agree, Cerulean. Need to start that drill earlier. Frick.
Absolutely perfect!
We got everything before then.
Wow! New record!
Come on. At this rate, I'm not even going to finish 18s today.
Next stage.
Just one greatest 409.5 points.
Yeah? I mean, you have to round down.
Well, the next grade will be rounding up because it will be 110.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, the game rounds that decimal off down. That's how it all. But that's how it's always done it. Like, that's how Pump has, like, actually always done it. It's never rounded up.
Well, I never looked closely into the new scoring.
Yeah, your options for 22s in NXA were very limited for new things. I can think of Canon X1, DJ Otada, and Caprice of DJ Otada. I cannot think of any other 22s on double. On single, you had Trotto. And I think that's it. Yeah, NXA was very, very phoned in. Yeah, you had to unlock Caprice of DJ Otada. And, the charts for that are an experience. Well, 2 of the 3 in there are an experience. One is okay, and the other's locked to a mission.
Well, cannot be another make it
think you're right. It was either 21 or 22. I can't remember.
Just 21 later.
Yeah,
I
but
think-
apparently that one was removed because of poor reception. It was just a chart. Oh well, things happen. I'm doing the same thing again.
Hey, is this really your best?
I really need to move my foot down. Ah, damn it!
Hey, is this really your best?
Am I early or late on that? I need to find out. This is the kind of stuff I wish we had. This is the kind of stuff that would actually be helpful. It looks like I'm actually late on it. Okay. We got really mad at one of the barriers at World Max because it was total percent based off of all the non-easy stations. Playing World Max alone was not enough. We got stuck until we had help. The closest thing I can give you to that is reading the pump pages on NamuWiki, and you can translate them from Korean. That's about as close as you'll get as we can really see. Like, there's definitely a lot of talk of like different reception issues and etc. etc. But I can tell you that I think the only mixes in the modern era that have been like well received in general from the general community are the first two Fiestas and Prime 2.
Not well received?
Well received. I think I saw it. I'm not gonna keep going.
Hey, is this really your best?
That's 6 anyways. This is partially the reason why I don't want to do a full sweep of charts again next game. I'm kind of sick of doing this.
New series. Use your custom series. Zone. Cool song. Website.
I mean, this is good for documentation. I do want like full charts videos of a lot of these. Please let that be it. There. Finally. Goodbye.
Wow! New record!
It's fun, but goodbye. So with F2, they didn't really do anything to innovate. That was the problem. They re-simplified a lot of the interface. Like with the missions. Like, I will admit, Mission Zone in Fiesta 1 EX was not a good design as a whole. Because it was too hard to actually make progress, and it was very difficult to know which missions you wanted to play. So Fiesta 2 simplified this by putting everything in one giant list. The problem is that that's a nightmare to navigate when you have 200 plus songs in a row. And over 80% of the missions in the game were just recycled directly out of Fiesta EX. So that's the mission part of it. We had a whole bunch of songs that didn't have their contest charts added for forever, because realistically you were not going to play 90% of those contest charts ever. Because of how asinine the leveling system was. So F2 has a lot of issues. Even my first play of it kind of gave me not a great impression, especially playing 1.00 instead of 1.01, which at least added a few charts that were needed. Yeah, like if you could not clear a mission in a hell zone, you were stuck because you couldn't access the boss without it, and without defeating the boss, you couldn't access the next hell zone. So that was a problem. Now, Prime 2 as a whole was well received. There were some issues. Like there were UCS-related issues, there were UI-related issues with it being a little convoluted. But as a whole, Prime 2 was still pretty well received. It was a good mix. Alright, let's get out of this folder for a bit. Let's go to Shub.
Shortcut. Cross. PayPal. Use your Google. So let's say level 18.
I do think Prime 2 was a legitimately great mix that ironed out a lot of its early problems and had some great ideas. Like, having rivals really was great. Oops. My bad. It did, but there were enough good things to balance XX out at launch. Ah, that's unfortunate. Yeah, the scene... The US scene as a whole was definitely in a bit of a regression period during Prime 2. And I feel like with XX, that was when new people started really trickling in. Oh yeah, yeah, that was actually big. First mix to have working UCS system at launch, because that didn't happen for any previous game. It was still a problem with original revivals in Prime 2, because you couldn't set them up online. They didn't have the infrastructure on the web page. So the only way to play UCS of the revivals was to play them off a USB account. So, as much flack as XX gets, it definitely did some correct things and fixed some things. Which is unfortunately better than what Phoenix got, because Phoenix's launch was very messy. Like, Prime 2 started with a small list, but as a whole, that list was varied in quality. Phoenix started with roughly the same amount of songs, but the problem was, like, at least from my perspective, I had already played half those songs in Chrono Circle because they were BMS that were already in there. So that really kind of, like, soured it for me at the beginning, because, like, I'm not really playing many new things. Like, one of the great things about music games is that I learn about different music. Now, originals as a whole for Phoenix were a strong start, and there was some great stuff. And even some of the stuff that was licensed out of BMS got some very interesting things, like Acquire. Acquire is, like, one of my favorites. But there were definitely a lot of issues. It felt a little sloppy at the end, but this should be good enough.
Absolutely perfect! Wow! New record!
Yeah, Phoenix was really a lot of panic, because Chrono Circle had not done well at all. Chrono Circle was a big flop. And I'm sure management was like, okay, you better get something out the door for Pump to fix this. And I know there's a lot of talk of, oh, there were so many years and everything to, like, prep for a new mix. Well, when you have an entirely new game being designed and taking priority, that's where a lot of your time goes instead of what's currently there. So admittedly, yeah, people were pissed having to wait for a game that was very, very delayed. But saying that there was a lot of time to do it is... I can tell you that, like, working on Infinity, from my perspective, that certainly isn't true.
Yeah, Chrono Circle also had updates every 3 weeks.
Yeah, Chrono Circle had updates every 3 weeks, anywhere from, like, 3 to 6 songs, something like that. Like, it was actually a very busy update schedule. There's always going to be speculation that Pump is dead, music games are dying. They might not be doing well, but they're not dead. They're far from dead.
Level 18, level 17.
Chrono Circle is fun. It's just, it has a lot of issues. But I do think it's fun, and it is one of my favorite music games. Just because it manages to blend everything together in a way that I like.
Absolutely perfect! Wow! New record!
Yeah, especially early music games, because they were trying to all capitalize on each other.
Next stage.
Like, I know first Pump Mix had a 6-month development time. First DDR also had roughly a 6-month development time. Which, when you think about it, 6-month development time for a brand new concept that's never been done before back in the late 90s is, like, ridiculous. And it just ended up being such a huge hit. It just happened to get really popular then. And was for several years. And it's unfortunate that Pump got international releases, like consistent international releases, so late to the game. Because I don't think we had a consistent U.S. release schedule until like Prex 2, something like that. So Pump was already way in the hole.
We had earlier versions around, but those were obviously not.
There weren't like U.S. versions. They weren't like localized versions. 6. Yeah. Like seeing music games evolve over the last 25 plus years is definitely a treat. But you look at all this stuff and I'm like, man, how is this even working? Or how did this work? missed that last tap. That was close. That was close.
Absolutely perfect!
Alright, let's count up how much else I have left to do because progress has been pretty slow. So as far as things that I still need to do, we have... songs.
Game over!
It's, yeah, still quite a bit. We're gonna keep going. We'll just keep going until I'm ready to just have lunch. What do you want to do for lunch? What kind of food? How do I ask? My wife, everyone.
New tunes.
It sounds like a Family Feud question all over again. Name a person that always desires tasty food. My wife.
Political hearing, high place, remix, shortcut.
Well, here. Another JT helper. Because holy crap. Way too early. I think it's really sad that even with JT -5, you still have to be late as hell on that one set of rolling brackets.
Absolutely perfect!
Yeah, it took 3 updates to finally have X-Rave as an arcade song. I remember being confused for so long. I'm like, where's the arcade version? And we got stuck on 1.10 for a while, so we didn't get to play arcade for this until 2 or 3 months after 1.40 was out. Something like that. I do have a video of my first play of Allegro D23. That would be the proof of like when we installed that patch. Because I remember playing it the first day that we installed it. Because we'd finally convinced D&B Techs to like apply the update for us.
First update was Raven, second was
Yeah.
Necromance,
Yeah, Necromancy.
and this was third.
And 1.3 had a lot. X-Ray, Smells Like a Chocolate, Pavon got arcade charts.
I remember they had like one song per update and maybe some minor stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, wacky times. Okay. We need to be extra late still. It does not matter that JT -5 is on. Be extra late. Nice.
Hey, is this really your best?
Nice one. Like, this isn't a hard chart to play, but to perfect is pretty hard. actually legitimately really happy with that one. I like the chart. Like, remember that shortcuts back then were meant to be very gimmicky. And I think WindForce took the right approach. Now, is this an 18? Absolutely not. Even back then it shouldn't have been an 18. But it's a good chart. Too hard. It's pretty hard because it's all stacked back to back. You don't have a break. You don't have a break. You don't have a break. And remember, we're still dealing with rolling brackets. Not many people really know how to do rolling brackets that are in the middle. In the middle four. So I've always felt this could have been gone up in difficulty, but I also think this is a very good chart. So I was actually pretty surprised when I saw WindForce put it on his list of his charts that he made over the years. There were several charts of his that I didn't pin as his, and then I saw them like, really? I mean, I can kind of see it now, but wow. Tales of Pumpkin.
Shortcut. Difficulty zone level 6, level 18.
Always speed down for this. The gimmick really messes with my eyes. Speaking of playing Apple Soda songs, what's everybody's thoughts on Vanish 2 so far, looking at the previews? I think it'll be fun, but the song definitely feels like a slight step down in terms of composition, because it doesn't really like ever climax. It's a pleasant listen, so I'm okay with that. Yeah, I thought it was like easier than a 24 as well.
Absolutely perfect!
I think the chart will be fun, but I do think it is easier than 24 on double.
Record!
Especially in comparison to normal Vanish. In comparison to Vanish 1, the 24s are night and day.
Next stage.
I do appreciate the BGA. I think a few scenes are a little over reused, but the style is very much kept in Vanish 1 style. And there's a lot of good detail in the art, so I really appreciate that in the BGA. Definitely some good work there. I forgot who the artist was for this one, for that one. Yeah, anyways. Anyways, we're making progress at least. We're making some progress here. Oh, I kept on 580. That should be okay.
자꾸 나만 보면 안 된대. 잘했던 걸 원할 뿐인데 넌 네 사랑의 꿈속은 따분하잖아. 어젠 간단하게 thriller 오늘은 말해볼까?
still adore this song. Like, this was the song that made me know Dreamcatcher. And just left a much better impression than most of the other stuff. Mega Hearts 3. Wait, what's Mega Hearts 2? Oh, Sonic Boom. I guess.
Absolutely perfect! Wow! New record!
That's another, what, 4 off the list right there? 3. Alright, we're making some progress. We're making some progress here.
Game over!
Let me just get some water, and we will continue with this.
What do you want?
Still just a few weirder 18s to do. Not too many left. But there are some rougher ones. It's like the end of like... Oof. Well, there are some rough ones coming up. I gotta do Donatello next.
New teams! This is your result level set level 18!
Donatello. This certainly is a chart. Like, I don't know, Nugo. Like, I like the uppers for this, but everything below them is really weird. turn pass on anyways. That's always a rough part with playing the song, is that it's so quiet there. Because the snare is trying to crescendo, but that means there's almost nothing to work with. I don't know, I feel like this chart wasn't actually done, and it was just accidentally submitted.
New teams. User Twitter will be going level 16, level 16.
Well, like I said, I don't think this one was done. Like, there's that 4-measure pause near the beginning, like a 4-measure empty part that exists in none of the other charts. Every other chart has at least something. That's why it's just so bizarre. And everything feels really weird. Here. There's nothing happening. And this part's really sloppy. Once we hit this point, things even out a little bit. Donatello.
Absolutely perfect! Wow! New record!
Yeah, it's... Like I said, it just really doesn't feel as polished as it should be. I like the uppers. I think S22 and E22 are good. But everything below them, not the best.
Next stage.
The cut is also a little bit of a shame. Like, I don't mind how it's structured for the most part, but we don't get any of the other voice clips in the song, unfortunately. I kind of like the other monologue voice clips, but all we hear is just Dorite. Oh well, it exists. It happens. Passacaglia. Now we're getting back to the Fiesta era. Back to the Fiesta era. Okay, this one had its gimmick stripped out. So at least I don't have to read it at like 3x anymore. Hey, Toaster.
Absolutely perfect! Wow! New record!
I saw that there was an announcement in the Discord about like passes being available, but I never like looked in depth if that was actually related. I think the ending's cool. I think it's a cool chart. But I do my inner butt kind of wishes the gimmicks were still there to force people to be like, hey, you need to learn how to read slow. Because if you read at the speed I was reading at, you get completely clobbered by the holds because of how huge that gimmick was. And not just the holds, everything after, because the ending has a bunch of expand gimmicks as well. It's like my inner butt is just like, I wish this was still here just to screw other people over. But at least it made it easy on my end, so I didn't have to worry. Alright. Let's work on Foco. I used to really enjoy playing this one a lot when it was CSDX time. The last gimmick isn't there anymore, I forgot about that.
Absolutely perfect! Wow! New record!
Yeah, there's the Dominion tournament, but unfortunately I'll be working, so... That's a good question, Cerulean.
Next stage.
I do not remember. I'll have to look at some point. The last jump just zooms in at like double speed. So you just have to be ready to make the switch. I think that chart's still fine. Like, the run is not super interesting because it's all typical HP's drill patterns. But it works. And the rest of the chart is fun. Like I said, I played that one a lot. Especially since it was the first song in JKD Station. Ironically, JKD Station only had one JKD chart in it. I think they were probably expecting him to make more stuff, but none of it ever got accepted. There was like, okay, there's the one chart we can use. Which ended up being Magic Girl, which is very fun. for a back 6. I got so lucky I did not get punished overshooting that one.
Absolutely perfect! Next stage.
I think I have a better opinion of this chart now than I used to. Like, I'm of the opinion that this kind of gimmick works best with slow BPMs. But I think this one manages to do just enough to keep from being like too overdone, because it's hard to like really utilize patterns at this BPM with only back 6. So I think my opinion of this chart has improved a bit. I think there are still some better, more fun ones, but this one's still fine. No, there's other ones. There's Avalanche, D19. There is Slapstick Parfait, D18. I can't think of anything else right now. If we want to include spin-offs, Fresh D13 is one of those. Because that's mine.
We used to have Roomba.
Yeah, Lavumba's not in the game anymore, unfortunately. And it was only accessible in one set of regions. Yeah, up and up switches. It has that kind of concept, but it switches. Well, you can take any of the ones we mentioned and just put them on mirror. you can take any of them and just put them on mirror. Yeah, the beginning of Energizer D17 also had that. There were some mission charts as well, because I think Superconductor might have been one of them. I'm gonna blow my own horn for a second and say, like, I did a same kind of chart for Time Attack Blue, and I loved how it turned out. I should probably re-upload that UCS at some point. Like, there's still several UCS I uploaded during XX that I haven't re-uploaded, and I probably should do that. Freestyle, by the way. Come on, y'all. I want to see y'all freestyle with this.
Not until somebody freestyles Chimera.
Yeah, right.
Or B.
Yeah, B. Or Larkus.
Even 2X.
Yeah, 2x.
Game over.
2x.
Thanks, Abu.
Or Puncture's 8-bit. Well, that wasn't freestyle. Was it? No, it had all singles.
No. 8-bit had freestyle at Nightmare.
Okay, it did. So yeah, freestyle that. You just need an extra person to play it.
Nightmare was 3 people.
Yeah, the ending of that chart's a monster. Like, it's a fine chart for what it does, but it doesn't really give you rest. And it hammers you pretty hard. So it's definitely one of the more difficult 18s to get through. I think he could do it now.
Used to be 17 for the longest.
Yeah, that was a lie. 17 was a lie. But the thing is, hard is still rated 15. I'm like, why?
I still find this easier than sorceries.
It can be in ways.
Can't drill.
Yep. Solve My Hurt has really grown on me. I don't know how I'm going to feel about the charts yet. They are very interesting. I just don't know how I'm going to feel about them yet. But I do appreciate that even though it's a fast song, it's not balls to the walls hard like everybody always wants. It's fine to have something like this. And the nice thing about Doe in this game is that all his songs are a different BPM this time. Like we have Nade Age is 100, Solve My Hurt's 234, and C is 293. And they also have a really good like variety. You don't have a place to play right now. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Now we need a 50 BPM song.
All right, let's see how much more we have left to do here. We're kind of in the home stretch. Kind of. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But 2 of them are full songs. So let's get those out of the way first. Well, you got Interference first, and then Dignity right after.
Why do you need to cross this one?
No, I want to get Interference out of the way first. This is longer.
It's like,
This
why
is
so
a difficult feeling for a whole song.
It is, but oh well.
This is not so bad.
I am way past it. It's pretty great. Yep, no slowdowns this time. My brain is slowing down only because I'm like drenched in sweat in my shirt. I'm glad I have this like the Emmy shirt on, but I'm drenched. I get drenched so easily. Oh, that's unfortunate. Everything's so scary when it's like 4+ minutes long.
Absolutely perfect! Wow! New record!
You know, Amir, and there's actually a story behind that. Because Windforest on his Twitter had talked about some of the charts he'd done,
Next
and
stage.
Interference D22 was one of them. He noted in the comments that he did try to make a harder full for double. He tried to make a harder double for the full, but he gave up on it because he found it was too repetitive to work with. Like, a song like this is really difficult to work with. There's not a whole lot of variety. Yeah, like if Windforce couldn't even finish one, then I don't think we're ever getting something for this. Also, I really think that could have been uprated to 19 at this point. Just because it's so long. It's like deceptively draining. Yeah. There's only so much you can do. Well, at least that's one. Let's go to Dignity and hope I can get that in one try. The also other annoying thing about this from a playing perspective is that Interference is one of Doan's older songs. It is extremely drifty from a sync perspective. It doesn't have a normalized BPM. I've tried. I've checked it. It's not normalized, so it is extremely scary because the sync is drifting back and forth between early and late. Yep. Oh well. Really? Let it go.
Hey, is this really your best?
Of all places to get a good, I must have really kicked my foot over. Here, let's see if we can finish that. Just died. Just died.
I wonder if it's the same person who made Arcade Freestyle.
I'm pretty sure it is. I'm pretty sure it's Kanji.
Wait, Kanji made Arcade Freestyle?
I think it feels like something he would make. There's competence. There's annoying ass double
Hey,
steps.
is this really your
I think
best?
it could be Kanji's. Especially since he helped edit Nightmare for sure.
Well, we know the Nightmare is BPM, but that's as much as I
Game over!
know.
I don't know. I do not know. Let's try that again. So the only part I need to double step there is the spin on the right. And we'll just send it after that. Just need to send it.
New series. Difficulty zone series. Go. Full song.
Thank goodness this song still kicks ass. Also kind of scary for no reason.
Absolutely perfect.
Especially when you almost slip off the bar during the hard part.
New record. Next stage.
The Fools are done. It's all arcade songs from here. Yeah, it does feel like slightly less repetitive when it's cut the way it is. And I think that's better for the song. Like, but it's also still fun that way. Oh, all right. Let's hit up everything else. We got Vanish.
Full song. Use your difficulty zone level. Level stage level 18.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty hungry and tired at this point, so I'm just trying to get this done ASAP. Like, I just want to be done today. I've had my fun, but I am hungry. It's also getting very sticky in here. really love that very last burst.
Absolutely perfect! Wow! New record! Next stage.
Okay, got some Fiesta era stuff. Native and Genesis. The end of Genesis is pretty scary, but really fun. Native is mostly just paying attention. I forgot those jacks were there at the end. That was close.
Absolutely perfect! Wow! New record!
I still like charts for Native.
Next
It's one of the
stage.
weaker FEX originals, and the BGA is the BGA, but charts are fun. That's how I feel about Native. I honestly can't believe this song is almost 15 years old now. I also now can't remember if this was 1.20 or 1.30. It all just kind of blurs together for me of like when this was added. Alright, let's try and get through Genesis' ending. How long have we been going for today? Let me see. It's at least been a few hours probably. 2.5. Doesn't feel like 2.5. I am so not used to longer sessions anymore. Turn the speed up just so I can get through the ending, okay? This chart's still great. So if we do everything properly, we can get everything in 1 more credit. Yeah, just 5 more. Grandpa's getting old though, can't have long sessions anymore. I don't know how like all the youngins have like 5-6 hour sessions. Even I didn't have that back in the day.
Game over.
Especially because of time reasons. It's not really feasible to go to the arcade for 6 hours back then. Even if I had a relatively long session at D&B, it wouldn't exceed like 4 hours ever. I definitely miss that era in terms of like exploring the game and meeting people. But I definitely don't miss that era of content and getting stuck. So, especially because that cab had a power supply issue of some kind. So whenever some songs would play because of the light maps, it would try and generate the lights. And the power draw was too much. It completely shut down all of the lights and the pad input for X amount of seconds. So playing some songs was literally impossible. And this was especially bad during World Max, because I eventually got to Maze of Magic where you can't leave once you start it until you're done. I got to a Faster Z part. There's no way around this at this point because it requires me to get at least an A. And even with the event mode trick, I can't get an A. So I was completely stuck. Completely stuck at that point. That NXA World Max save was trashed. Especially since it was a USB that was plugged into just the back of the machine. It was D&B's USB. So we didn't have like a backup off of Pumby to load from. So at that point, World Max was history, which sucked. It already kind of sucked getting to that point, but at least it was kind of fun. But at that point, when your save is completely made useless, it's like, So I don't miss those experiences. Anyways. One more set. Hopefully. If we do this right, one more set. Problem is the first song is where it starts out of the mind. Oh, I didn't even get to Sanctuary because that's after Maze of Magic. So I didn't even get into space on that file. I didn't get into space until sometime after I got my first machine. But then my NXA died on me, so didn't get to do anything with that for a long time either. Yeah, cursed game. Very cursed game. Damn it. That was close. Divot.
Absolutely perfect! Wow! New record!
1 down, 4 to go.
Next stage.
1 down, 4 to go. This one's a good chart, but it has crappy sync, so at least we can fix that. I went like way too far. Oh, I'm not even 18, that's why.
Critical beyond single. Weapon type level 18.
It is. It pretty much just does it right after. Which really does like amplify the effect of it. Alright, good chart. But it has this tricky moment. Oh, I was gonna turn. I was gonna turn this on. That should be good enough. Red Snom. Scared I'd choke that.
Absolutely perfect!
Red Snom.
New record!
I unfortunately still have unfinished
Next
business with that
stage.
Chrono Circle, but I'll probably never actually get to it.
I was pretty happy with my score. I got like 95 or 96 something.
Well, I had a world record pace run that ended on the last slash.
Ow.
Yeah. That's how hurt I was. So I'm just like barely below record.
That chart is very
It's very hard. Like in Chrono Circle, this is actually one of the most difficult 14s. Like not even 14 plus, like out of all the normal 14s, it's one of the hardest to comprehend. Once you understand it, it is quite fun. But MVTech did not pull back on it.
I understand, but I can't do it because I keep overshooting with the slides.
Yep.
Or undershooting.
Free left. I'm surprised I didn't do this one earlier. Of all things to not do until now. I know, right? You know, BPM's probably gonna see this and he's gonna be like, shame.
Right.
Wrong chart.
It's not the wrong chart, it's my brain wired wrong in English.
Why?
Like, I know it's right, but I say left. I don't know, it's just the wrong wiring in my brain for English specifically.
I don't get it because, like, I'm pretty sure D24 does start on the left. That's why I'm like.
No, I meant right, but I say it left, and it's my brain problem. Like, language specific problem. In other languages, I don't have that problem.
Okay, just yell it in Russian, so I don't have to care.
And you will understand what I'm saying?
No, but I don't have to care. That's the joke. At least if it's something I don't understand, I'm not going to think about it. I'm not going to think about whether it's right or not. Ironically, right.
Both Maria and Vitoriavirus start here.
Yep.
That Maria starts like this and Vitoriavirus starts like this.
Ooh, my legs. Almost to the end. And I will sync my data and check to be sure I'm at 100%. Because 17th I actually did miss Stardream Eurobeat.
Starbreed Eurodream.
That's how much I need food.
Eurodream is a term.
You know, people have been talking about Eurovision, like, now I'm gonna blame it on that. There, left, left. Yep, Starbeat Eurodream. The new song. The new remix.
Absolutely perfect! Wow! New record!
Two songs.
Next stage.
Invasion and Clue are the last two ones.
So you didn't have to do Dr. M? Wow.
Nope. As far as I know.
I was the one that was definitely not done.
I can check just to be sure. Just to be sure I didn't skip it. Nope, good. What a pain in the ass that ending is. Glad I don't have to do that today. Invasion. Actually, you know what? We'll do Invasion second. Let me just do Clue now so I can get GT in the way. That'll make it significantly easier. I don't really care much for this chart. Need to focus for 2 minutes. yeah, that's alright. It was changed. I almost dropped that hole too early though. I think JT saved me on that. Because if I was on normal, I absolutely would have been late. Saved by JT.
Absolutely.
Alright.
Game
Just
over.
get invasion. Get invasion, we can be done. Contest songs. Alright, Mr. Spam. I think this will just be a preview of what's to come in about a week. I didn't deserve that at all. I don't know if y'all saw the middle. That was so janky and I got away with it.
Absolutely perfect. Wow. New record.
I was very panicking getting to all the toe taps and everything. That shouldn't have worked. That should be everything.
Next stage.
Oh, alright, let me sync the data. Pull that, let me go sync the data on PIU tracker. Won't take long. Won't take long to do this. And while I'm syncing it, we can talk. It's kind of ironic ironic. I've done more things with typing involving this and Quake commands than I do at my actual job these days. Alright. Alright. So let's talk about it, since, well, I wait for the data to sync and make sure we're good, and I can change this back to 1 credit premium. So that Haru can play later without yelling at me about changing it back. Okay, so, yeah, I'm going to cut stream here in a bit once we verify the data. Oh, it's already complete. We'll check it in a second. Tonight, Hockey Babbler and I are probably planning to play Secret Agent Wizard Boy together, play co-op, because I want to do more co-op things, or just multiplayer things in general. That's why I've been playing like Doom and Quake multi. But playing co-op is something I don't do often. And Babs is great, they're great, so we're going to try and play together. I don't know if I'm going to stream it tonight, but if we do, it'll probably be really late. Like in, like, I don't know, like 6 hours or so, something like that. Tomorrow, if I'm going to stream, it's definitely not going to be Pump. Probably just play something casual. And then Wednesday, I go back to work Wednesday, so we might sneak in a quick session before I go to work. We can talk about that then. So let me verify my data real quick, make sure we're good. Refresh. Yep, it's all 1 million because sorting by score does not change anything. Looks good. Yep. Alright, all 18s are done. Thank goodness. Alright, let me see who's on. See who we can raid. Who's doing stuff. I see Goof actually doing something, so let's go say hi to Goof. Looks like he's playing Nubbies. Alright, y'all. Go say hi to Goof. Go have some fun. If I stream tonight with Babs, I'll post about it. Otherwise, we'll try and do something else tomorrow. So, y'all take care. Thanks for watching, everyone.